I never imagined a simple company dinner could strip me down to the bone, but that night did exactly that. Emily had been preparing for the event all week, choosing her dress, practicing her talking points, reminding me how important this dinner was for her team. She wanted everything to be flawless. And as always, I was ready to support her. That's what husbands do, right? At least that's what I believed. Emily works in a very competitive corporate environment, the kind where people measure worth by job titles, monthly bonuses, and who drives what car. I've always been the opposite, quiet, steady, building my small but growing business step by step. It didn't bother me that her colleagues lived in a different world. I only cared about being there for her. When we arrived, I instantly felt the weight of the room. Conversations were sharp, people's eyes constantly evaluating. Emily introduced me to a few coworkers, and I could sense their polite smiles masking the judgments behind them. A couple whispered something under their breath the moment we turned away. I pretended not to notice, but a knot tightened in my stomach. As the evening progressed, the remarks became less subtle. Someone asked, "So Daniel, you still running that small operation of yours?" Another added, "Must be nice having free time." As if having a flexible schedule meant I wasn't working hard. Emily laughed awkwardly, trying to drag the conversation in another direction, but she never actually corrected them. I tried to brush it off. After all, I wasn't here for them. I was here for her. But then came the moment that burned itself into my memory. We were standing with a group near the bar when her coworker Ryan, already a few drinks in, looked me up and down with a smirk. Everyone fell silent, waiting for his next joke because that's what he was known for. Cheap humor at someone else's expense. He leaned closer and said, loud enough for the entire circle to hear, "Feels good being a loser, huh? While your wife carries all the weight." The laughter that followed was sharp, cold, and humiliating. But what hurt most wasn't the insult. It was Emily's reaction. She just froze, no anger, no defense, no that's enough. Nothing. She just stood there with a stiff smile like she didn't know what to do. And in that instant, something in me cracked quietly. The car ride home felt heavier than the entire dinner. Emily kept her eyes on the road, gripping the steering wheel like she could squeeze the memory of that moment out of existence. I stared out the window, replaying Ryan's words again and again. Not because they mattered, but because her silence did. After a long stretch of quiet, I finally asked, "Why didn't you say anything?" She exhaled sharply. "Daniel, it wasn't the right time. Ryan was drunk. I didn't want to create a scene in front of my team." I turned to her. A scene was already created, just not by me. She didn't respond. When we got home, she tried to act normal. Took off her heels, wiped off her makeup, asked if I wanted tea. But the distance between us had already formed, invisible but impossible to ignore. For the first time, I wasn't sure if she saw me as her partner, or a liability she needed to explain away. Over the next few days, little things started making more sense. The time she avoided bringing me to office events. The vague explanations of why maybe next time would be better. The way she downplayed my achievements whenever her coworkers asked about me over the phone. I had brushed it off as stress, but now it felt like shame. One afternoon, Emily asked if I could pick her up from work because her car was in the shop. When I arrived, I waited in the lobby. That's when I heard them. Ryan and another colleague standing near the elevators. Ryan snorted. "Emily's husband is here? What does he want, a tour of a real workplace?" The other chuckled. "Bro, she basically works like she's single. Half the time people forget she's married." My chest tightened. Not because of the insult, but because Emily had allowed this narrative to exist. Before I could step away, the elevator doors opened and Emily walked out. Her eyes widened when she saw me standing just a few feet behind her coworkers. For a second, guilt flashed across her face. But again, she said nothing to correct them. Nothing to defend me. I walked toward her calmly, but inside something had shifted. I realized the problem wasn't Ryan. It wasn't the office. It wasn't even the joke. It was Emily's silence, loud, heavy, and constant. And I knew then that something had to change. That night, I didn't wait for the right moment. I didn't rehearse what to say. I simply walked into the living room where Emily sat scrolling through her phone and said, calmly but firmly, "We need to talk." She looked up immediately, sensing the shift. "Daniel, about earlier." "No," I interrupted. "This isn't about today. It's about everything that led to today. She swallowed hard. Okay. I'm listening. I sat across from her, keeping my voice steady. Your coworkers mock me because you allow them to. They think I'm a joke because you've never shown them otherwise. They disrespect our marriage because you've never made it clear that you're proud of it. Her eyes welled with a mix of shock and shame. That isn't true, she whispered. Emily, you stood there twice while a grown man degraded me. You didn't defend me. You didn't even look uncomfortable. You just let it happen. I paused. Do you know what that communicates? She covered her face with her hands. Daniel. I didn't realize how bad it looked. I just wanted to avoid office drama. I didn't want them to think I couldn't keep personal and professional life separate. And in doing that, I said quietly, you separated us. Silence stretched long and heavy. Emily slowly lowered her hands, her voice trembling. I'm sorry. I should have spoken up. I should have shut Ryan down a long time ago. I didn't think he'd cross the line like this. I nodded. But he didn't cross the line today. He crossed it months ago. You just kept stepping back. Her breath hitched, and for the first time she didn't try to defend herself. Instead she asked, what do you want me to do? I stood up. I want you to decide what kind of marriage you want. One where I'm a secret embarrassment you tiptoe around? Or one where you set boundaries, even when it's inconvenient? She stood too, grabbing my hand desperately. I don't want to lose you. I'll talk to HR. I'll confront Ryan. I'll make it clear to everyone that you are my husband and I respect you. I pulled my hand away gently. Respect isn't something you announce. It's something you practice. Her eyes filled with panic. Daniel, please. Give me a chance to fix this. I headed toward the bedroom door and paused just long enough to say, then start by choosing me when it's hardest, not when it's safe. For the first time in a long time, I saw the realization hit her. Not about Ryan, not about the office, but about what she had almost lost. And finally she understood. Silence can betray louder than words.